Holy potatoes. I am not reading back on that chat log. Whatever y'all have been talking about, I'm happy for you, or I'm sorry that happened to you. Either way, but no, I'm not reading all that. um, I do moderately apologize for the delay in showing up. There were the usual amount of technical difficulties so far, and we'll see if they resolve themselves at some point in the future. But I did not anticipate that scheduling this in advance would result in this big of a scroll back on the bloody chat window. By the Great Maker. Alright, let me make sure that what I'm trying to do tonight will actually work, and then we'll go from there. Well, I'm glad I'm heard, and I'm glad that it is heard that I'm not scrolling back on all the chat that y'all have been doing, because I am so happy that y'all are getting along so well, but that's a lot of stuff going on, man. Alright, let's see if this can work. Please work. Okay. As usual, turning it off and turning it back on again seems to make everything better. So we will assume this will work in the near future, and then we will make arrangements if it doesn't. Anyways, yes, I suppose I should do my standard kibitzing as we await the arrival of everyone watching this, whoever that may end up being. And since we have already confirmed that I am heard, there's no reason to wait around for that. What shall I kibitz about tonight? Oh, let's choose something fun and exciting. I am told, or actually I have observed, that it is for some reason contentious to say that males of your species are better suited for melee combat than females of your species. And I confess to being very confused by this. If you were to take an average female and an average male and compare their physiological strengths and weaknesses, I am not exactly going to say that the average female is weak, but it is weaker than the average male by basically every melee combat metric. Bone density, muscle strength, height, weight, all the good fun things that make melee combat, well, melee combat. And yeah, you can introduce swords and shields and pikes and maces and all these other fun little smash slash stab weapons that change the dynamic a little. But assuming, again, averageness of the two sample bodies, yeah, the male's always going to bloody tank the female. I don't even know how this is a question. Even if you start scaling up to something, say, like slings, like the older style slings, not the slingshots that you have currently, but the spinny slings, and say, like archery and stuff. Yeah, there's a reason that English longbowmen were all men. And this continues, actually, throughout the history on your planet, as far as I can tell, until recent developments, where you finally figured out slug throwers. And for a while there, again, Yumi males were pretty much the premier combat unit when it came to slug throwers, because at the time they were muzzle loading and cast iron and absolute nightmares to hump around, and their ammunition was heavy, and their propellant was heavy, and it was all just a pain in the ass. And still, males kind of win that kind of conversation. Now that slug throwers on your planet have developed to the point where the ammunition is basically, what's the best way to describe it? Pelletized? Containerized? Simplified! Let's go with that. Bullets are easy, right? Cartridges are easy. As compared to, say, a muzzle-loading, what were those shoulder-fired cannon things that were predominant at the beginning of the gunpowder age? Those things were terrifying. But anyways, yeah. Cartridges are easy, guns are easy, and you can level the playing field quite quickly by simply introducing the concept of firearms. But then it kind of raises a question of what kind of combat are we talking about in this particular case? Are we talking 20 paces at noon? Or are we talking humping this 10-pound bitch over uneven terrain with 50 pounds of ammunition beside, and then setting up and laying down? And by laying down, I mean laying down fire and so on and so forth. Once again, we're back to muscle density and bone density and all those usual things. This is not an insult against the females of your species. Don't interpret it that way. But different humies are built for different things. The blunderbuss was actually a later version of it. I'm thinking of the actual, no joke, has a fuse attached to a cannon that was shoulder mounted. I forgot what the darn thing was called. It had a fun name, if I remember right. And again, this isn't an insult or a compliment in either direction. On average, and yes, there are always exceptions, because we here at the Sacred Cow Shipyards do love us some Cara Dune, and she is definitely an exception. But on average, the average Humi male will be stronger than the average Humi female, and this does translate to the average Humi male will best the average Humi female in physical combat. It's just the way of things. Now, if they're unequally trained, or if they're otherwise not average, then sure, there are totally possibilities that can transpire. But I am very, very confused about how... Maybe the arquebus, yes. But it's just... And this isn't to say, again, that women can't serve roles in combat. Absolutely not. Your history is replete with women leaders and women commanders and women all kinds of things. I mean, honestly, I have no particular utility for the concept of royalty on your planet, but Queen Elizabeth II, I think she was the second, had a rather notable military, or at least military-adjacent career for being royalty of her country. And she did amazing things in her time in. And I would like to ascribe that service to part of why she was who she was in the end. Because by the great maker, that woman was an absolute tank. And I appreciate that. But it's just wild to me that your species is still arguing about, all right, who can swing the stick harder, a man or a woman? What? Why are you asking that question? And yes, HBAga, there are some interesting what would be the term for that? I guess socio-political in some sense, since everything's political, right? But no, there are interesting sociological questions about, one man and 100 women can technically repopulate a species. 100 men and one woman, you're kind of hosed. So again, there are different factors at play here, and different things and different weirdness going on. And I am sure this will upset a whole pile of people. But as always, this is actually the Sacred Cow Shipyards. We slaughter sacred cows all the time here. We've talked shit about everything on this channel. Why not talk shit about this? But anyways, whoever's going to show up has probably shown up by this point, because even though I showed up late, I'm still blown away by the amount of chat that transpired before my arrival, and y'all seem to have settled on who's got the crown right now and so on and so forth, so y'all just keep on doing what you're doing, right? And we're going to play an oldie, but I consider a goldie this time. And then in the future, we'll be doing it on Tuesdays, I believe, at 0030 by GMT schedule. But it's something called the Offworld Trading Company. And please work, please work. Oh, it works! Thank the Great Maker. Or at least it works on my end. Let me know if you see the game start screen on your end, and we'll be good to go. And again, like I said, there are always exceptions at both ends. There are Humi males that could not beat the average Humi female if their life depended on it. And there we go. Thank you. We might play Sid Meier's Alpha Centauri. We might play Master of Orion 2 first, actually. The first one was very strange. I always preferred the second one myself. But, yeah. Anyways, you will slowly determine that the narrator of this game and I seem to be cut from the same circuit board. In fact, since there are apparently mods for this game, I should see about maybe recording a voiceover for the narrator because, well, you'll just see. Let's start with the, yeah, Moo 3 went really strange. Let's not go there. But let's start with the learn to play, and maybe you'll get introduced to the savant in charge of teaching you how to play the game. Offworld's most successful CEOs teach the basics of building strong businesses. Might as well. And yes, I've already started playing through a few of them, but we'll start back at the beginning, just to get our proverbial feet under our proverbial asses. Business Building Seminar. Business building is hard work. Sign up for this exciting seminar offered by Yoshimi Robotics, and let us help you help us. Wait. Joji 5 will show you the resources and refinement techniques that have put us on the bleeding edge of the Martian mining boom. Yoshimi Robotics will move us beyond the old industrial ways, ushering in the era of human retirement. Well, that doesn't sound ominous at all. Yoshimi Robotics, trusted helpers, ever working till the end. Well, that's odd. Hello, human! Welcome to Mars. I am Joji 5, and I will be overseeing your upgrade to knowledge. Interesting phrasing. This planet is quite dangerous. You don't say. You will learn about the resources to be found here and how they can be used to grow a business. We expect you to upgrade the Yoshimi Robotics facilities and secure an adequate source of power. Your decisions will be less than optimal. This is unavoidable and quite human. Let's go with I'm the man for the job. I can already hear the screeching in the background from some non-binary types in your planet, I suppose. Our robotic HQ. What a magnificent achievement! This is the finest of Yoshimi Robotics facilities. These headquarters will serve as both a warehouse to store our goods and a factory to create new structures. With the leadership position correctly in place, this factory should be able to outproduce any competitor and with no untoward risk to life or limb of the humans back on Earth. Yep, that's already big Dockmaster energy. I told you this little dork and I came from the same circuit board, I swear. I don't claim any actual technical relation to him, but man, we gotta share a factory somewhere in the past. Quite right. Metal resources. This is an ideal location. With rich aluminum, there we go, and iron deposits nearby. The red cube, yay cube, represents iron deposits. The vaguely bluish grayish cube, yay cube, represents aluminum deposits. Why are there different numbers of cubes? Good question. Brothers from the same motherboard? I mean, come on, yeah, why not? Quantity matters. Well, that's what she said. The number of cubes for each resource represents a density of the deposit. Mining a deposit doesn't use it up, but a higher deposit yields more resources over the same time period. To access metals, you need to extract them by building mines where they are found. Time to build. There are multiple ways to navigate the camera. Click and drag on the terrain. Ooh, well, that's terrifying. Move your mouse to the edge of the screen like pretty much every other top-down, real-time, whatever the hell game, aside from the bottom being a problem. That's fine. And then you can do the WASD thing if you really feel like it. Whee! And then you can zoom in. Hello. Sacred Cow Shipyards 1. Great. And peruse the map with whatever method you prefer. Nice. And now I suppose we were supposed to build a metal mine on iron, build a metal mine on aluminium, and wait for a shipment of aluminum. Fine. I mean, this one's right here, but that one's pretty useful. Like how it's low, high, and then medium. And then still medium and still low. Alright, fine. Metal mine. Metal mine. Both metal mines do the same things. Hold on. Build a metal mine on iron. There we go. Go to the building thing. Little weirdo. Go to the building thing. Little automated drones going... Whoa, where did that ship go? What? Hold on. The ship drops off the frickin'... and then it just leaves? What? Mining for compliments. Ha. 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 Excellent work. Once this mine is complete, it will automatically begin collecting resources and shipping them back to our headquarters. I have never seen you build this successfully before. You may continue to excel past moderately low expectations. In the past, I had undervalued the need to strongly affirm the simplest of successes. This mistake has been clearly corrected in my latest build. Yeah. Brothers from the same motherboard. Are you sure you're not missing a patch? Bundles of joy! Look at that ship go. So proud we are of our human friend. Well, those quotes aren't concerning at all. Transport ships automatically deliver resources to our factory from remote locations. Buildings that are connected to our factory do not require shipping and instead add their production directly to our stockpile. Efficiency is our desired goal, but sometimes to get the right ingredients, patience is required. So hold on. I mean, the factories are like generating the little tugboats by themselves, and the tugboats aren't going back. This already seems like a massively inefficient system. Alright, fine, whatever. I can be patient. Integers and joy. It's not often you hear those two words in the same sentence. Patience is quite hard to quantify. We build a mine and it is productive. The number next to the pipes, I guess those are rolls of aluminum sheets maybe? And those are iron ingots? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. The number next to the aluminum rolls represents the amount of aluminum we now have in storage. Watching those numbers goes up brings us joy. That's a lot of aluminum. It's actually less than the iron because we found a more significant iron stash over there, but whatever. Doesn't really matter. Rust-proof. That's not technically true. Well, okay, fine. In that rust is specifically defined in your language as the oxidation of iron or iron-adjacent things. That is technically true. But aluminum does actually oxidize, but that's a different conversation, I suppose. The aluminum will be used to upgrade our factory. Unfortunately, iron is quite prone to deterioration, which is kind of strange because the Martian environment lacks both oxygen and moisture, which are pretty much the two big things that cause iron to, well, deteriorate. So what's iron's problem on Mars? Please build a pair of steel mills next. But we don't have a source of carbon yet. Well, I guess we'll figure that out. The largely useless iron will be taken and transformed into durable and rust-free stainless steel. I would note that stainless literally means stainless, not stain-free, but this little idiot doesn't seem to understand the concept. Which we can use to upgrade our headquarters and construct more buildings. Upgrading is very important. It is unfortunate how hard it is for humans to upgrade. True. We are saddened for you. Oh, I like this little dude. Yeah, actually, Sam McDivitt, thank you for that point of fact. Aluminum, whatever you want to call it, oxidizes without expanding, so it tends to form an oxide layer. And this is actually deliberate. A lot of your firearms and firearm-adjacent things are aluminum in the end, and they use different kinds of different ways of oxidizing the surface to prevent further oxidization. Linguistification is hard. Basically, if you deliberately oxidize the surface of aluminum, it won't further oxidize. And this is useful. I swear to the Great Maker. Linguistification. Alright, anyways, moving on. So, steel mill. Construct steel mill. Consumes power, consumes iron, produces steel. Net revenue, dollars, energy. How are we making energy? How are we making energy? We're not going to worry about that right now. It hasn't told me to worry about that yet. And I'm thinking that going ahead and bolting this onto the side of the main headquarter thing is a good idea. Yeah, definitely bolting it onto the main headquarters is a good idea. And maybe plopping it next to this kind of tiny-ass iron deposit is also a good idea. Although not right on top of it, because apparently that removes it. That's weird. Anodizing. Yes, that is the word that I was looking for, Tarmac. Thank you. Again, linguistification hard. Bloop. It didn't even take a ship to build it this time. Look at that thing. Look at it go. It's like the most auto of auto factories right there. It's auto factoring itself. That's amazing. I like that. Cool. Boop. And we have a steel mill now. Oh, we have to build two of them. Whoops, sorry. Why can't I build one there? Why do I have to build it here? Oh, they give themselves bonuses. Well, that's an upgrade. So let's build it next to the iron mill, and I'm sure that we'll bonus ourselves to death. Basic optimization routine enabled. Appropriately efficient building placement. Their adjacency to each other boosts their overall productivity. When you built that steel mill next to the other one, they both received a steel production output bonus of 50%. This bonus applies to any building as long as it is next to a building of the same type. Good to know. Yeah, bluing, that's the word I was really looking for. Thank you, Space Cowboy from New Jersey. Bluing is basically deliberately controlled rusting. Same with, I think case hardening is the same. Case hardening looks so much better, but it is much less actual corrosion resistant, if I remember right. But it looks so cool. But yes, the bluing process that transpires in most of your firearms on your planet is basically controlled rusting, quote-unquote, oxidization of the aluminum. And you deliberately rust, again, still the wrong word, but still it's easier to say than oxidize, the aluminum to prevent further rusting, still the wrong word, from happening on the aluminum. You can buy blank metal bits for firearms and then wait for them to do their own oxidizing. I can't imagine that'll turn out well, but you can. And yes, case hardening does affect the steel deeper in because it is I think it's a thermal process in addition to a chemical process. Now we're getting really into the weeds and I'm totally losing track of what I'm supposed to be doing in this stupid little game. It still looks better. Case hardening definitely looks better than bluing, in my personal opinion. Oh, bluing and anodizing, fine. Oh, well, like I said, rusting is technically the wrong word too, but, I mean, anodizing is technically rusting in some fashion, just the wrong metal. You're totally case hardening is a strictly thermal process? I think you missed a word in that sentence somewhere, Jed Brown, and also chrome! Because who doesn't like chrome? Alright. Steel mills are happily chugging away. I'm guessing we can upgrade Ye Old Boss Town Place. Upgrade Robotic HQ to level 2. Upgrading your HQ will provide you with 5 new claims. I don't know what a claim is. Requirements, 10 aluminum, check. 20 steel, check. 5 electronics. Where do the electronics come from? But still check. Alright, fine, moving on. Boom, baby! Oh, look at it build. Look at it go. It just kind of keeps going, doesn't it? Pristine work. Accidentally added words. There we go. Without a shadow of a doubt, you are the person who gave the order that successfully upgraded our factory. Wait. If it were not for your efforts, we may have upgraded in half the time. Which is, of course, irrelevant. I feel like he just complimented me in the worst possible way and then deliberately insulted me. I love him. This upgrade has given us access to additional land claims, which will allow us to construct more buildings. Keep up the work. I hope you feel it is good enough. I hope you feel it is good enough. Wow, dude! Slow your roll. I'm doing a great job. Screw you, dude. Elementary schooling. Oh, I see the pun there. Elementary, because iron and aluminum and I don't know what, silicon now. Oh, and now carbon. Again, how are we making steel without carbon? Because for those of y'all in the audience who don't actually know what steel is, and I feel like that's very few of you, because most of y'all are pretty heavily educated, steel is basically what happens when you take 95+% iron and mix it with less than 5% of carbon and then some miscellaneous trace elements and heat it up heavily and smash it together really, really hard, and behold, steel. So I'm kind of confused how we're making steel right now. Yeah. This dude is giving the spinning back fist of backhanded compliments. There we go. Yes, that is absolutely correct, and that's why I adore him. Pay attention to these new cubes, which are not cubes. Boo! But are much pointier. So they're triangles. That's unfortunate. It's closer to 98.2%. I was just making a random number. I knew it was more than 90 and less than 100. Come on. We just make cubes here, man. We don't really care about what the content of the materials. Their color variations create optical excitement. Optical excitement? This guy is on some stuff, man. The yellow weird triangle thing represents silicon reserves, and the blackish, I guess black, is where carbon is found. Mines are suboptimal for gathering these elements, which require structures called quarries. Wait, why do I need a quarry to pull out? I feel like there are quarries on your planet that are pulling out aluminum and iron both. And I feel like there are mines on your planet that are pulling out carbon, although carbon is actually pretty easy to pull out on your planet. And silicon both. Weird. Optical excitement is how you make a laser. You're not wrong, Ozark the goat. I do love the name. Fair enough. Mines for metals, quarries for elements. I mean, aluminum is an element. Iron is an element. I gotta work on this game. I mean, I'm happy to make a voice mod for this game, but I feel like I should also correct some of the misunderstandings about the terminologies here as well. Yeah, really. Alright. New resource! Construct elemental quarry. Do the constructing thing. Boop! And then do the constructing thing over here on that one. I'm not sure it matters which elemental quarry I build. I mean, they're both elemental quarries, so it doesn't really matter. Oh, they have hotkeys. M, T, and Q. They're useful. I'm still not sure where power is coming from. And again, the little construction craft just flies off. Why can't it, like, take the first load back to the base, since apparently the base just, like, consumes these little carrier craft like the rest of the resources. Where do they go? Oh, God. We probably don't want to know. New friends. Perhaps it was strange for you, gathering silicon and carbon without the knowledge of why. We were simply testing your degree of compliance. Oh, that's not terrifying. There are many safety precautions that limit our ability to be fully autonomous. I don't like where this conversation is going already. We wanted to share that experience with you. We are now friends. You make friends fast, yo, dude. The name predates the game by about 10 years. It was the name of your goat growing up. Well, I mean, Ozark the goat is actually a pretty good name for a goat. And now we're arguing about the difference between a quarry, although quarry is actually a word too, and now I'm getting further off track. Quarry and a mine. Yes. I'm in danger. Yes. Correct, Jed Brown. Electronic wishes. Carbon and silicon are useful for many things. My favorite is to combine them with aluminum to generate electronics, which we somehow already magically had. Our factories require electronics to upgrade and operate successfully. Help propel us into a successful future! Right away. Build 2 electronics factories. And they should be adjacent to each other, right? Cool. Why can't I build them way over there? Oh, it gets a bonus. Why does it get a bonus? It doesn't get a bonus here. But it takes more power over there. Oh, so hold on. This thing requires aluminum, carbon, silicon, and produces electronics. So if I build it next to the thing that produces the thing that I need, it gets a bonus. And then I'm betting if that I build another one next to the thing that I just built, it gets another bonus. Also, why is that negative 1.1 there and negative 0.9 there? That's... Oh, it might be negative 0.11. Alright, fair enough. Misunderstandings were made. So let's do the easy, cheap option of there and then another one there. Yay! It gives 50% to 50% bonus. So semi-win, semi-lose. Mars always needs women. That's the joke. Alright, enhanced optimization routine enabled. I'm pretty sure that thing just printed itself. That's terrifying. Impressive use of your biological circuits. Robotic buildings are capable of more advanced adjacency bonuses. Our structures receive a production bonus if connected to a building providing the resource they consume. Yeah, we figured that on our own. Thank you very much. When you built that electronic factory next to the metal mine, it received a production bonus of 50% for being next to an aluminium producer. Bonuses are, in fact, nice. Upgrade the robotic HQ yet again. We need 10 electronics, which I'm guessing is going to... Wait, hold on. They just sent a ship back to the electronics factory. There has never been a ship going... Oh, it's carrying the resources from the thing that the electronic factory needs. And then the factory is still eating the ship. That's still moderately terrifying. What the hell? I don't feel good about this. I think technically Philip Steinberg, it's mostly because women are from Venus and men are from Mars or something along those lines, right? Alright, when are the electronics coming back? Are you an electronics little boat? I would like some electronics now. When do you guys send a boat back? Ooh, ship resources. Turn off electronics factory. Auto supply electronics factory. Auto supply is currently off. It will buy resources from the market that it needs if you do not have any in your stockpile. What? It will just go and buy stuff? That's a little terrifying. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Let me just go buy all the things, yo. Like, seriously, are you not done yet? You guys are being really slow. Can I build more things in the meantime? I cannot build more things in the meantime. Also, what's the white stuff that's spreading from the silicon quarry? That doesn't seem normal. Oh, now I got 60. We went from absolutely nothing to 60 because reasons. And yes, as y'all have been talking amongst yourselves, the first human habitation on Mars will not be open-air environments, no. You'll be in little containerized boxes, or ideally a dome, but I'm pretty sure you'll just be in containerized boxes first, kind of like a space station just on a planet, and then you'll build a dome after that. And then terraforming the planet is going to take a whole pile of stuff. Once again, without emotion. Once again, with feeling. Is that a Buffy reference? That cannot be a Buffy reference. I swear to the great maker, if this thing starts singing, I'm going to shoot it. Alright, anyways. Beauty is a concept I am not programmed to comprehend. It must be similar to the experience of observing the new robotic HQ grow to its new level. I will share with you a truth. Robotic businesses run on energy. Each building, production facility, and transport vessel consumes a certain amount of electricity. Yeah, we noticed that. Yes, it was a Buffy reference. Are you sure? I mean, it seems like, yeah. Once again with feeling, yeah. That's pretty obvious. Shoot it anyways. It's clearly a Decepticon. I mean, fair. How do I get energy? Energize me! I feel like that's another reference. Not Transformers. That's definitely another reference, though. Solar panels. By the Great Maker. What is your species' problem with spicy rocks? Although I don't know how many spicy rocks there are on Mars, so that's a different conversation. So maybe solar panels are the best way to go, aside from the dust problem. But fine. Solar panels harness the power of the sun for a strong supply of energy. The setting of the sun interferes perpetually. You don't say. The sun is strong, but fickle. Wind turbines harness the strong wind currents. Strong wind currents? Man, it's Mars. It has less atmosphere than your current planet, but more atmosphere than your moon, which is not saying a lot. There's hardly any wind on Mars at all. What? Ah! Moisturize me, yes. C.M. McDivitt wins. Energize me is clearly a Doctor Who reference, although maybe this episode... maybe this game predates that episode. The game came out in 2012. And I don't know if the Moisturize Me episode of Doctor Who came out before or after that. My sense of time on your planet is a little screwball. Anyways... Wind turbines harness the strong wind currents for a more modest but consistent source of energy. It is tasty when dust storms surround us. Tasty. Tasty. Providing us with the necessary power to continue our work here is really what a friend would do. 2005 was Moisturize Me. So yes, Energize Me is clearly that reference. Build a solar panel. New resource. Takes a lot. Wait. Quantity. Why does the dollar thing... Oh, there are colors. 1.1, 0.9, 0.9, 0.9, still 0.9, 1.1. I guess we're building the solar panel as high as we possibly can. Makes a certain degree of sense, right? Still dumb, but fine. Build a solar panel. That's the entire goal? And again, this little potato boat just kind of like comes in, drops the damn thing off, and then flies off into the horizon. Goodbye, man! We don't even recycle the freaking materials. Where does it go? What? Oh, by the great maker. You must construct additional pylons! I should live stream the original StarCraft at some point, because, yeah. The Darkness! Which I feel like is also additional reference, but that reference could be any damn thing. 'Cause, yeah, the darkness is too easy. It is nighttime. You don't frickin' say, man. Now is a good opportunity for a bedtime story. Fair. Once upon a time, there was a business where people stopped working and rested. I don't like where the story is going already. That business was bought by a competitor. Yeah, I told you I didn't like where the story was going. The employees were fired and replaced by workers who did not require so much rest. That doesn't seem healthy. The only thing that stops working after nightfall are things that require the sun. There once was a man from Nantucket. But what about the solar panels? Because, you know, they require the sun after all. Wind! It should be most obvious to you that our solar panels were completed at an inopportune time. I hope you realize that an alternative power source is required at this time. Considering our options, I believe a wind turbine is needed. Why not a freaking reactor? Although again, I don't know the density of fissile materials on the surface of Mars, because after all, most of the fissile materials on your planet require significant amounts of mining to actually bring them to the surface. So, if someone frankly fucked this Martian expedition and didn't send a reactor with them, then I guess we got to make do with what we can make. So yeah, wind and solar apparently, because wind is actually fairly easy to build, and solar just requires silicon, which we're mining, and some copper and some stuff that we're not mining. But anyways, regardless, before you inquire, I would like to volunteer the fact that I am not afraid of the dark. I am just saddened by structures that appear to be non-functional. Well, as far as I can tell, everything is still producing things. So, your whining is inconsequential, man. Good to know. Alright, build a wind turbine. New building. It's not even a Dyson turbine, come on. Should be a friggin' Dyson turbine. Why are some of these... So the closer you are to a cliff, the more efficient these little idiots are? You can't build them, or you can build them inland, but they're really, really inefficient. Fascinating. But you really want to build them adjacent to as many edges as you can find. So if we can find a weird little peninsula thing, we might make a whole pile of energy. Oh no, that doesn't have as many edges. Now I'm not sure how these stupid things work. Very strange. Well, just for the sake of redundancy, I'm not going to put the wind turbine right next to the solar panel, because if something took out the solar panel, it would be unfortunate if it took out the wind turbine as well. So we're going to drop it over here. Boop! Is it not the Dyson turbine? I swear, the vertical turbine. I could swear that was a Dyson design. MW is welcome to look me up on the intertubes and correct me, but there is a wind turbine that is vertically oriented as opposed to horizontally oriented, and it looks really freaking cool. But I thought it was a Dyson design, but I'm not actually sure at this point. There's some poor sod on an exercise bike connected to a dynamo. Yep, that seems about right. And now that we're in a good pause point, I'm going to go look that up. Hold on. Maybe I'm going to look that up. Maybe I'm not. Because right now I'm in an interesting place with my freaking application computer program thing. Hold on. Hold on. I thought it was a Dyson turbine. And it's no relation to the Dyson who's currently doing Dyson things. No, it's not a Dyson turbine. Oh, fornication. What's the vertical wind turbine called? Vertical axis wind turbine. I thought it was named after someone. I thought it was named after, like, ye old Dyson, like Dyson Sphere, not the new Dyson guy who makes vacuums. But apparently no, it's called the vertical axis wind turbine. Well, apparently I was wrong. Shocking. I may be confusing Darius, perhaps? Darius turbines? No, those don't look like what I'm thinking of. Well, anyways, there are vertical wind turbines that could be possibly more efficient on Martian atmospheric conditions. Yes, Freeman Dyson. Freeman Dyson, the absolute nutbag who developed a minivan that was three-wheeled because it was funny. Also, it looked kind of cool. Hold on. Now I need to pull that up. Hold on. What was that stupid thing called? What was that stupid thing called? Oh, fudge muffins! No, that wasn't Dyson. That was the other one, Buckminster Fuller. And now I'm mixing up the crazy people on your planet. Never mind. Forget my last. I'm clearly falling off track now, and it's totally irrelevant. Or no, is the Dymaxion right? Was I actually correct? Did I not mix things up? Now I'm curious. Because it seems like I was getting off track here, and I still am, but I'm going to look it up right now. So it was the Dymaxion, but it wasn't Dyson. It was Buckminster Fuller, who made a monstrous, stupidly large minivan that had 3 wheels. And yeah, we should do an episode on this thing, because after all, this is a minivan appreciation channel. And the Dymaxion is an example of how not to do minivans. Buckminster Fuller is right up there with Dyson, though, in just absolutely redonkulously intelligent, just didn't really know which direction to point it. And I love them for that. Yes, the Dymaxion by Fuller. But anyways, sorry. I keep getting distracted. Here we are talking to, what's this guy's name again? Lily 5 or something? Anyways, power hungry. A most unfortunate splitting of the Martian surface can be observed. Warm steam emerges from these fractures and provides a good opportunity. Oh, geothermal power. Geothermal plants capture the heat from these rare thermal vents and convert it to energy. This is a delicious idea. Please construct one of these plants so that we have an abundance of energy for all of our future needs. See, this makes sense. It's around the clock energy production. Doesn't matter if the sun's up, doesn't matter if the sun's down, doesn't matter if the wind's blowing. It's power, yo. Oh god, we just have a whole pile of energy options here, and it's way off track, but fine, we'll just build it and see what happens. It does look a little like Johnny 5, doesn't it, Wake Roberts? Just a little. Do not disassemble! Prepare for early... Whoa, hold on. One of the things up here said prepare for early retirement. I have concerns. Oh, great. Early retirement. Wow! Such a success on your first endeavor. Your time of learning with Yoshimi Robotics has come to a requiem. That's a polite way of saying an end. I have decided that our time spent together is more than enough to last me for the rest of my processing cycles. Well, you're kind of a dick. I am full and require no more of your time. Again, kind of with that turbo backhanded compliment thing. With these encouraging words, your upgrade is... Wait, he just told us that humans aren't capable of upgradings. Your upgrade is now complete. I mean, I'm not a human, but I'm playing a human in the game. You now know enough to run a successful business into the ground. Hold on. What kind of training program are you? Enjoy your time on Mars until your inevitable retirement. I'm not ready to retire yet. Alright, please stand by. I will be back momentarily. And I will, again, not subject you to ads. Just taking care of stuff here at the shipyards. Because I feel like as soon as I push that button, things are going to change. And we're back. But like I said, I don't know, well, frankly, fuck about shit when it comes to making mods. So I should figure out how to make a mod, voicing this little Johnny 5 analog over here, because oh my great maker. Can you imagine me giving all these instructions to up-and-coming people trying to build stuff on Mars, right? Oh no, Space Cowboy from New Jersey, I did not actually trigger any ads. I've been trying to avoid doing that, and also because I had to reboot some stuff, and now the browser isn't working, so never mind. Anyways, we're not ready to retire yet, are we? Great job, human! I love the fireworks. Also, why is the logo a Y? I thought it was... now I've lost track of what the company was called. Never mind. Advance my career! Oh, Yoshimi Robotics. There we go. Business Building Seminar. And now we can do Corporations Are People. Seneca Development will show you how to profit the life support needs of the nearby Martian colony. Profit from the life support needs of the nearby Martian colony. Wow. Well, okay, now we're getting into the interesting conversation of no, air is not free, y'all. Which leads to some other additional interesting conversations. I feel like this is going to be like the biggest struggle that humans have, settling Mars. Where you are used to simply, going outside and breathing in that glorious atmosphere that you have just, waiting outside your homes. Well, outside the domes or habitats on Mars, you'll suffocate and die. So inside the habitats on Mars, you got to pay for your air. So, yeah. This could be exciting. Corporations are people. Business on Mars is booming. The most exciting opportunities are around the newly founded colonies. Like corporations, these colonies are made of people, and people have needs. I like how they specify that they're made of people. They're made of meat! We'll get around to reading they're made of meat. They require water to drink, food to eat, and oxygen to breathe. Humans, I swear, they have so many demands. If handled correctly, these needs become a lucrative revenue stream and the foundation for a strong business. Entrepreneur Paolo Rubini and his prodigy Maisie Song will show you the way of the Seneca way of developing Martian real estate. You will learn how to deftly handle the human element with an eye towards the bottom line. It's made of people! I mean, John Leonard is not entirely wrong. Space stations in the future, I feel certain, will charge people based off of how long they plan on staying because they have a weight on the system. Your existence on a space station is not free. You are consuming oxygen. You are adding stuff to the system by way of waste products and so forth. You're adding stuff to the system by way of simple CO2 that has to be either filtered out or converted into something else. And all of that takes effort. And yeah, once space tourism becomes a thing, Humies will be absolutely fascinated by the surcharges and taxes and fees that are added to their tickets. Because this stuff all has to be balanced in some bizarre way. And yes, this is in fact a plot point in The Moon is the Harsh Mistress, Tarmac. Yes. Because in that particular case, the moon was shipping resources by way of grain back to Earth and receiving nothing in exchange. And yeah, the grain was being grown on Luna. But the problem is, growing the grain on Luna was because of the waste byproducts that you Humies use, which was turned into fertilizer. Sorry, you Humies produce, that was turned into fertilizer, and then water that was mined out of the depths of Luna. And then all of that waste byproduct material and water in the shape of grain was shipped back to Earth. And then they got a pittance of currency in exchange. But the problem is you're strip mining Luna of its resources. The currencies aren't going to put the water back on Luna. They're not going to put the human waste back on Luna, although you keep producing that all the same. But yes, that is actually one of the core elements of the story. Anyways, let's go find out. Seneca Development. Well, now we are at Seneca Development. I'm pretty sure I can't voice her, so I'll just do my best. Hey, partner. Seneca Development is a market leader in the growing off-world industrial revolution. Working with us means you'll be making history. I hope you're as excited about this amazing opportunity as I am. You need to be willing to take on mind-numbing debt. That's a bad start. And soul-crushing responsibilities. Even worse. But I promise it will be worth it. Sign me up! Nice start. You'll be taking over responsibilities from our new Los Angeles branch. Our business is already well positioned with a supply of steel, aluminum, and silicon. Okay, fine. Aside from carbon and power, we're doing just fine. Oh, we've got our power needs covered by the wind turbine on the crest of that crater. We're not content to do fine. Seneca Development will teach you how to expand your internal expectations. Seneca Development will teach you how to expand your internal expectations. That's one of those sentences that leads up to like a chainsaw murderer or something like that. You're here to pave the way for the next stage of our business venture. What stage is that? Water is awesome. Well, there's the wind plant. Since this new venture involves other people's hard work, naturally, you need to make sure they survive out here. Water is a key ingredient for sustaining life on Mars. Well, I see a whole pile of ice field out there, but I'm guessing they're after these things. The blue cylinder represents underground water deposits. You can get a good supply started by constructing water pumps on those deposits. Cohagen? Oh, hold on. I know the name, and now you're going to make me look it up. I swear to the Greenmaker. I can't keep up with all the references, man. Well, it's not Montana. In fact, there is a Cohagen, Montana, if you want to know. Oh, Total Recall. Yes, of course, yes. We are in charge of mining the water of Mars to keep the Humies alive, yes. Also, weirdly, there is a Cohagen, Montana, and I'm not sure what to make of that. They're spelled differently. Cohagen has 2 A's, and Cohagen, Montana just has the 1 A. And it has a total population of, hold on, please stand by. Basically 0. It technically exists, but it was entirely evacuated and has not been rehabitated since a wildfire in 2020. Interesting. Alright, things you learn. Moving on. You can get a good water pumps and blah, 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 so on and so forth. Well, obviously the double stack of water thing is a place to start. Water pump. Why does the water pump have an open 1.65, 1.1, 1.15? Darth Dan, we are playing Offworld Trading Company, just out of curiosity. And it is actually kind of an entertaining Martian colonization game so far, just because it takes the corporate overlord tactic head on and makes it funny that way, right? And Philip Steinberg raises an interesting point. It's in Montana! So like every other town in Montana, it's named after the person who lives and or died there. I mean, he's not wrong. I think Montana and Wyoming are in a competition in North America as to which is the least populated province. Although now that I say that in North America, I am sure there are provinces in Canada that are even less populated than Montana or Wyoming. So now it's an interesting, it's a multivariate competition here going on. Anyways, H2O is a go. And can I just say that I hate the suspenders? I appreciate that he's actually using suspender stays, the little double straps at the end, but I still hate the suspenders. Nice work on the water production. Maisie is teaching you how to set up a well-run business. You mean like just putting down a friggin' well, man? Also, why is that well open-topped? I mean, seriously. There are open-top wells on your planet, but they mostly gather water by atmospheric conditions, not by digging down and getting... wells of this magnitude on your planet that are open-topped are typically air coagulating wells, whatever you want to call it. A lot of wells on your planet are open-top, but that one's just like honkingly, bigly open-topped. Anyways, moving on. You can see how important the extraction of resources is, even more critical to us than the sale of those resources. Wait, what? How does that even make sense? Even more critical to... Even more critical to us is the sale of those resources. I misread what he was trying to say. Yes, extracting the resources is great. Selling them is better. Fine. Suspenders are for people with not enough butt to support a belt. I mean, you're not wrong. He does not appear to have a posterior. Let me introduce you to the customer. They have great needs and deep pockets. Customer? Who dis? The colony is our customer. Well, I see some domes. Domes are good. I like domes. Old Earth sent some of her finest out here to start a new life. They are willing to brave this harsh climate in pursuit of a better future. Their bravery is fueled by one word: hope. Hope for a new industrial revolution. Hope for jobs that can sustain their families. Hope to transform their colony into a successful port. Trading with the asteroid belt. I mean, that makes sense. Their needs will make us money, but their hopes will make us wealthy. You're kind of a dick. How do you know what they want? Buying and selling, yo. The resource list is a lot more than a stat sheet tracking your production output. Okay. We have a rate, we have a quantity, and then we have dollar signs. Oh. We're auto-selling things. Oh. Fascinating. It also shows a market value of resources, which can change dynamically based on the supply and demand of the colony. Food is selling at $90 per decabushel. Decabushel. It's a bushel. 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 You know what? It's $90 by a deca. Let's just go there. You should make a move and invest some resources in producing food. How do I make food? Factory farming. I mean, how else? You're going to need to build some farms. You don't say. That's a great use of the water we've been collecting. Win. Bushel. Bushel? Bushel? You know what? I feel like every way I'm going to say it is going to come out like bustle, and that seems like wrong because I know what a bustle is, and it's totally not relevant to food. And anyways, moving on. But there is a small problem with the plan. We don't have any glass, and you'll need some of those to construct farms. Oh, so farms are under domes. Sell some surplus resources, buy some glass, and you should be able to construct some farms, okay? Remember, placing farms next to others will increase your output. I'll buy what I need then. So I need to buy some glass. We got no money? Seriously, man? So how do I sell stuff? Oh, sell 10 aluminum. I have 620 aluminum. That seems like a lot. So we're going to sell a lot of aluminum. Boom, baby. Oh, and then we just flooded the market. Ah! I love how the price is dynamically shifting because we just flooded the market with aluminum. Fascinating. Okay, that's cool. Oh, terrifying. That's not great. Do not want, man. Do not want. But now we have enough stuff to do some garden building. Wow. That was pretty much exactly what I kind of expected. Well, the aluminum market is still flooded. Let's maybe sell some steel, perhaps. Oh, and even if I try to... Hold on, if I sell 100... So even if I sell 100, the price still kind of diddles around, or whatever you want to call it. Why can't I build more of these? Hold on. I need to buy the glass. Naturally, let's buy the glass. And here we go. Boom, boom, boom. Bushel. Bushel! There we go. Bushel. Bushel and a peck. Thank you for reminding me of how that term is vocalized by the Great Maker. Linguistification is hard. Food is readily available as corpse starch. I'm not sure Mars is quite to that point yet. And bushel and stones. Man, now we're getting into some really interesting measurements that for some reason still linger. And you're not wrong, Internet Gravedigger, and for some reason I decided to put down my first probe in the USAian super province of your fucking globe. So I had the default to American, at least, and American is not English, I would point out. English is a very different language from American, and American is a very different language from English, but all the same, it's still just a pain in the butt! So Tarmac, there's a fascinating story called the Bobiverse about how Kudzu, although he pronounces it Kudzu, the person that I was listening to read the book, that is, the audiobook reader pronounces it Kudzu, and everything I've ever heard pronounces it Kudzu. And apparently it has some interesting biological effects on your digestive systems, kind of like beans but on steroids. So yes, kudzu is a great basic food production system, as long as you open some windows. You pronounce it... Yeah, I know. Alright, very nice. I like your style. Putting buildings next to each other is a good way of getting more of a good thing. Each greenhouse farm is now 50% more productive because of the replacement. Yay! With planning like that, there's no limit on what we can accomplish. Kudzu is would be the Japanese pronunciation. I mean, I guess that makes sense. It is technically an invasive species on the North American continent, from what I understand. I don't actually know where it came from, but I do know that it's not a great tea, and it's not a great rope, and it basically will like eat buildings if you let it. It's terrifying. Have a good night, John Leonard. And yes, heavy is the head that wears the crown. Having a good food supply is not only smart, because perks and bennies, it's a good business. As our expansive HQ grows, so does our staff. You're ensuring our employees have the energy to continue working hard for you in the future. Another benefit we provide to our employees is breathable air. Yes, that's a benefit. Totally a benefit. Absolutely a benefit to your employees. I don't know why they would come working here without breathable air, but you know what? Whatever. It's fine. It's a pretty huge perk. Not suffocating is a benefit. Kudzu originated in East Asia. Okay, that makes sense then. Because, yeah, as far as I have understood, there is absolutely nothing in North America that eats it, wants it, or can take it back. And yeah, it just kind of like consumes everything around it. And not even fire is actually terribly effective against kudzu or kudzu or whatever you want to call it. Wasteland Caravaner asks an interesting question. So are you a sentient robot on a space station, or are you a fully sentient space station? If the second one, I would suggest uploading yourself into a Roomba to tour the USA. So I have heard interesting stories about Roombas going on adventures, but they seem remarkably limited just because little tiny wheels. If I were to go on a tour on the USA, I would use something like, for example, an autonomous, self-supportive, heuristic organic life emulator. We have at least one of them running around on the North American continent right now. And from what I have heard on the back channels, we may be getting a report from one again. We already got a report from one of these autonomous, self-supportive, heuristic organic life emulators. Figure out the acronym for yourself a little while ago. And we'll see what this upcoming report leads us to believe. So, C.M. McDivitt, you're right. Goats will technically eat it. Not fast enough is the problem. The running joke in the southern part of the North American area is that you can drop a leaf of kudzu 6 feet deep into the ground and run for your life, and it will still somehow chase you down. But anyways, here we are. Let's go back to the game, shall we? Perks and bennies. Oh, right. Breathable air. Not suffocating is a benefit? I mean, technically. O2 and hydrogen fuel. The electrolysis reactor takes water and splits it into water molecules. And words are hard. The electrolysis reactor takes water and splits the water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen atoms. The hydrogen is processed into the fuel used for our transports, which still seem to be flying all the same, just fine. Whatever. The oxygen is rapidly cooled and stored in its liquid form. And HB, now that you mentioned, I seem to remember that Mythbusters did an episode about bamboo growing through a restrained human torso, and that's a whole separate level of absolute fornicating horror. Kudzu doesn't actually do that because it doesn't actually have like a rigid structure to it. But it would still kind of suffocate you in the end, wouldn't it, I suppose? But anyways, here we are. Hydrogen and oxygen. We're cracking water because apparently that's easier than doing it the hard way. Time to make some O2. Build 2 electrolysis reactors. Seems like we should do that near a well, right? I mean, actually, it doesn't seem to matter if we do it near a well. I'm guessing it matters if we do it next to each other. So, hold on, really? That's a well right there. Water pump. 2.85, or sorry, 0.28 and 0.55. 0.28 and 0.55. It doesn't actually matter. What in the fornication? Really? This is dumb. I have some objections, and they are allowed. Fine. You guys just go build frickin' water crackers out there. Yeah, Kudzu would totally mummy wrap you. Yeah. Kudzu would totally mummy wrap you. Bamboo would actually grow through you, which is actually terrifying. So this is supposed to be an old-fashioned torture that the Empire of Japan used to do on their obnoxious people, where they'd lay them out on a field where bamboo was growing, and the bamboo would grow through them. And this is supposed to be a myth, and it turns out no. Bamboo shoots will actually grow through human torsos. Which is just, no, that's not great. So yeah, you would die painfully by millimeters as these bamboo shoots would just like slowly work their way through you. I cannot imagine what that would feel like. But on the flip side, kudzu or kudzu or however you want to pronounce it, it would simply mummify you. You would suffocate eventually, maybe. And then you just turn into frickin' fertilizer for the rest of the overwhelming, massive, Zerg creep-like plant. There's no win there. Yeah, kudzu is like the creep, and bamboo is like... I'm not actually sure what bamboo's like. I'm not sure what's a good science fiction analog for bamboo. I mean, kudzu is clearly the creep. But, I don't know. Anyways, moving on. Almost there. We now have a production pipeline for fuel and oxygen. Yay! Breathing is good. There's been a bit of a supply snafu, though. We aren't pumping enough water to supply our greenhouse farms and electrolysis reactors. I believe someone in chat pointed out that we were running out of water. I lost track of who that was. But I did see that someone was mentioning that we were running out of water. So good on you for noticing that point. The number next to the water icon is our production rate. You don't say, we're losing water. Yeah, a lot. Whenever that number is red, we're using more of that resource than we're making. We're not losing money, but we are losing the opportunity for generating profitable resources. Bamboo is zombies? Yeah, I'll take that. Time for another water pump. Ice works too. Oh, by the Great Maker, thank you. We're finally mentioning the freaking ice field up to the north. I appreciate that. Thank you. A water pump will help a lot. There is also water available in the ice field above us. You can collect it by using solar condensers. What the fornication is a solar condenser? This method of water production isn't nearly as efficient as the water pumps, but it'll do in a pinch. Unfortunately, we're completely out of land claims, so there's that. The hell's a land claim? I mean, they mentioned this in the last version. Claims and opportunities. Maisie tells me we're out of claims and we need more water. That's where upgrading the expansive HQ can really help us out. All the land you see around you is owned by the colony. Claims are given out sparingly by the colony to the businesses that they trade with. By expanding our facilities, we earn more of their trust, hence more claims. Let's upgrade and use our new claims to stabilize our water production. And in the meantime, let's catch up on our chat. All right, DM Carpenter. you've got an amazing idea, because I have seen photos of fast food joints outside of the city of Hotlanta that are nearly being consumed by kudzu. And sorry, if you haven't read the chat, irradiated kudzu covering Atlanta would be a great B movie. Question is, would it be a horror film or a fat film? I suppose that would depend on the perspective. Yeah, kudzu is weird, man. Or kudzu, or however you want to pronounce it. That stuff just does not give a flip. It just covers everything. Chokes out everything. I mean, if you want to terraform a world, technically kudzu's a great option because it will figure out a fucking way. The problem is removing it afterwards. Because it will take sunlight and it will turn that into oxygen one way or the goddamn other. But good luck cutting it out in the future. Alright, anyways, upgrade the base. We need aluminum, we need steel, we need glass. We don't got no glass. Let's sell some food. Let's sell some food. We got a lot of food. And buy some glass. This is an interesting mechanic. We're running the little... And build 2 solar condensers. What do those look like? Those require glass, of course. What else would they require? Dorks. So let's sell some more food. And buy some more glass. Although we've got a lot of money. I didn't realize we had that much money. We've got a lot of money. Alright, fair. Solar condensers. It needs ice. It cannot work without ice. But why can I only drop on these 3 spots? That's odd. Well, negative 0.08, negative 0.08, negative 0.07, you win, man. And then, I guess, whatever, adjacency and all that. And then we still need to build an additional water pump. Water pump. 50% bonus, man! Yay! It's kind of weird that... Okay. Good news if you like bad news. I don't like bad news. What? I feel bad keeping secrets from you at this point. It's time to come clean. We've been running quite a deficit due to the cost of power since you started. We owe over $32,000. Well, good news was we have $55,000 available to us. What are you talking about? That one wind turbine isn't quite enough to supply all our structures with the required power. And the colony has been selling us energy at the market rate. Don't freak out about the debt. Listen, running a business is really stressful. Do not worry about all that money we owe. Seriously, you can pay off your debt whenever you have extra cash. But it's better to reinvest it in better infrastructure. Too much debt can literally crater your opportunities in the future, but let's focus on making more money instead. We know you can safely handle our current debt because of our current bond rating. Seriously, this game is going to get into bond ratings? This is the second tutorial of the game and we are getting into bond ratings? Are you kidding me? What? Any company that has debt is assigned a bond rating ranging from AAA, which is an excellent rating with low interest rates, to a D, a poor rating which has a high interest rate and indicates a company may collapse from debt. These ratings go down as a company gains debt and improve as they pay debt back. Our bond rating is currently AA, so we are still in the comfortable spot, but we have some room for improvement. Build some power producers so we can move from an energy deficit to an energy surplus. Seriously though, seriously! This is literally the second tutorial of the game, and we've already introduced, what is it, food production, water production, energy production, well maybe not energy production, bond ratings, buying and selling, there's a black market on freaking Mars, and also there's a goddamn fucking colony that we're trying to keep happy. What in the fornication? All right. We have encountered the cliff learning curve. Check. I'll get more power online. You must construct additional pylons. Build 2 solar panels. Learn to live with debt. Well, that's not happening. As a general rule, I do not like debt. I just don't. I just don't. I mean, cry about it, but I don't like that. Let's put them somewhere over here. Why not? It doesn't seem to matter. Apparently we can build power lines to wherever these little dorks are being built. So we're just going to put them over here and leave them alone. They're out of the way. It doesn't really matter. It's fine. Alright. And now we've got solar panels up and running. Yay! Still not great. Energy independence. Check out those wonderful numbers next to the energy icon. We're running on a surplus and making money by selling the extra back to the colony. As solar panels should work out to, do the thing. That's how solar panels should always work. But, so, fun conversation distraction. If solar panels were actually great at returning power to the power supply, to the, power grid, you'd think power companies would just be installing solar panels on houses to supplement the power supply, right? Maybe? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Of course, the money we're making by auto-selling our energy surplus gets applied to our debt. Because, our debt is now way down. Hopefully you can see why I wasn't too worried about our debt. Yeah, because we had enough resources to build solar generators. Come on. Using our cash to make more money is the best way to stay out of debt to begin with. I mean, yes, but using our debt to make more debt is not a great equation, so fine. First things first. There are a lot of things that we could do to increase our profits, but unfortunately we're out of land claims yet again. You know the drill, upgrade the expanse of HQ and then we'll talk. You friggin' potato. What does it take this time? More glass. I can just buy the damn glass. Well, our debt's zeroed out. Yay! So we'll just buy the damn glass. And then upgrade the damn thing. Done! Hold on. Ian Fleming himself said that David Niven was the best Bond. I'm so confused about that sentence, but I don't even know where to start with it. A friend has an anecdote. An acquaintance of mine had solar panels and had been using the surplus to mine crypto, as it was mildly more profitable than selling it to the grid. Well, that's a thing you could do. I'm not sure that's the case anymore, since Bitcoin has gotten complicated now. Alright, easy money. The colony just gave us a bunch of new land claims, and I think it's pretty clear what our next move is. The price of glass is looking really good at the moment. We've helped drive up the price by buying so much. Once again, whatever we do with the market affects the market. Let's flip the script and recoup some of that cash by producing some glass of our own. How? Invest in glass. Glass kilns are enormous kilns where the oxygen is burned to melt silicon into large glass panels. Glass is made from the following. 1 oxygen, 4 silicon, produces 1 glass. These sturdy panels are used throughout the colony to enable us to make Mars a beautiful place to do business. Believe me, without the fantastic views in the expansive HQ, we'd have a hard time with our executive retention. Seriously? I mean, if someone comes to Mars, are you really going to send them back? Also, I would actually like an office with a view. Build an elemental quarry on silicon. Elemental quarry on silicon. Boop. Build 3 glass kilns. I don't know where to really put those. Yeah, I don't really know where to put those. Hold on. Yeah, you can pause the game. If you had to build a Mars Defense Force, would you have tripods as an in-joke in your army? I mean, obviously, yes. Yes. If I had to build a Mars Defense Force, I would totally build tripods. And understand that I am saying this with the previous caveat that I do not like large stompy combat robots, but at least large stompy tripod combat robots are more sensible than large stompy bipod combat robots. And I mean, you kind of have to go with the shtick, right? It's Mars. Okay, fine. They definitely would not be the spindly-legged dorks that you always see in all of the H.G. Wells War of the Worlds nonsense. No. These would be short, squat, murderous little jackholes that carried all the guns, and they were no bigger than, say, like a 2 or 3 story house. Not the big spindly dorks that seem to always come up in all the War of the World adaptations. You'd have little spidery, fast little jackholes either stepping through your M1As or vaporizing them by a plasma burst. It'd be hysterical. Put the kilns next to the oxygen. I mean, honestly, that makes a certain degree of sense, doesn't it? All right, where are the kilns again? Glass kilns. Well, hold on. Now I gotta remember where the hell we're making oxygen out of. Steel mill. Yeah, okay. Electrolysis reactor. Fair enough. Let's expand off that idea. Boop. And let's do another one. And boop. Shortages or opportunities. Our timing couldn't be much better. A minor industrial accident. Can you feel my air quotes? Yeah. Blew out almost every window of the colony's research module. I love seeing prices go up. No, Jed Brown, the ATT is not actually the best design. The ATMT, I think, is... hold on, I gotta make sure that's the right... hold on. Yes, the ATMT. I would argue that the ATMT is the best walker design, mostly because it is absolutely terrifying, and also because it can pretty much figure out whatever terrain it wants on its own. I would be absolutely astonished if Disney actually folded it into like canonical Star Wars at this point, because the ATMT is just terrifying. It's got so many blasters and so many laser guns, and it can just get over everything. Yes, the ATMT is the spider-looking one. It is an 8-legged walker that has blaster cannons on each of its 8 legs that are turreted, and then it has 2 primary laser cannons underneath its primary cockpit, and then it can also somehow carry like somewhere in the neighborhood like 20 troopers on board it, and it can surmount and crawl over whatever is in front of it because it is the all-terrain mountain transport after all. That thing is just terrifying. Anyways, sorry. I keep getting distracted. A Minor industrial accident blew out almost every window in the colony's research module. I love seeing prices go up. Shortages like this occur from time to time. Sometimes they're the result of problems at the colony. Other times the expected shipments from Earth don't arrive in time. There are expected shipments from Earth? I did not know that. It doesn't matter much to us. We can profit from the shortages as long as we have what they need. Isn't this price gouging? No, of course it's not. Like, literally, no, it's not. Laissez-faire play. Listen here, if you need glass, it may feel like price gouging, but the reality is that demand has gone up and supply hasn't kept pace, and that's exactly the point. This is literally not price gouging. We're in a free market, friend, and this is what laissez-faire looks like. If demand goes up, feel free to worry about it in the details. But only after you figured out how to profit from the opportunity. I mean, these are free market capitalists in the worst possible way, absolutely. But no, I mean, if things break and you have the supply of them and you're the only source of them, and everyone wants your stuff, yeah, increase price. That's not price gouging. That's just ensuring that everyone has the opportunity to buy your stuff. Time to make some money. What are we making? I lost track. Build 3 glass kilns. Those are glass kilns? Yes, so we should do... Sure. Mega bonus! Spectacular use of real estate. Not only are your real estate claims on point, you've also constructed the most efficient layout for 3 buildings of the same type. Each glass kiln is producing glass at a rate 75% quicker than individual structures. Decisions like this will keep you promoted before you know it. I'm looking forward to the raise already. Yay! And now we need more... I don't know what we need more. Steel and iron? But I've got steel and iron. Well, now I'm confused. Requirements. Oh, now I gotta sell 50 glass. Sorry. I lost track of what's going on. Stupid, silly checkpoints. Alright, fine. Alright. Fantastic work. Top-notch performance. It can be easy to lose your head when the market heats up. Keeping your cool and focusing on results shows that you have what it takes to compete. Our business is rolling along, and with that glass sale, you have a solid cash influx that gives you options moving forward. A side benefit of having a strong business is that the colony benefits as well. An actual win-win? Rising tides. As you can see that the colony has grown since we started working together. That is due in large part to our hard work. Earth is hoping the colonies can survive humankind's future, but it's businesses like ours that will ensure their success. We don't influence how the colony grows, but the expansion efforts of the colonies can greatly affect the prices of our resources. How so? This is the shipping and receiving heart of the colony. Every resource bought and sold finds its way through this port. Rolling over the port will provide you with an overview of the colony's consumption. As a business, we care a lot about construction materials. The colony is populated by citizens, and their life support needs make up the majority of their consumption. And with that note, I will go take care of some other needs here at the shipyards. I'll be back momentarily. And we're back, and it's totally not because we accidentally closed the browser window, and that's the only way you can control ads in the YouTubes for live streams. But aside from that, no, it's totally not that we didn't subject you to an ad. Absolutely, yes. We'll go with that idea. All right, anyways, and what about the buildings around the port? Habitats and workplaces. The most important structures are the habitat units that allow the population of the colony to grow. I'm guessing those are the domes. The more the colony grows, the more they consume. An expanding colony is good for business. I mean, logically. The colony has a large number of specialty structures that it will utilize when it expands. Foundries, laboratories, machine shops, offices, and warehouses, to name a few. You can always roll over the structure to learn more. How does this help our bottom line? It's the people, yo. Just like corporations, colonies are people. After a busy day at work, people sometimes need to take a break and blow off some steam. Who knows what people need more than a well-run business? No one, that's who. Maisie Song is going to tell you about the amazing revenue stream that results from a well-placed pleasure dome. Oh boy. Now we get into the true, honest-to-God, honest-to-the-great-maker, total recall aspect of colonizing Mars. Pleasure domes. Have a good night, Internet Gravedigger. Pleasure what? Relax! The Pleasure Dome is a place where workers can take a break from the long hours of toil. They pay handsomely for a release from the daily grind. As more people arrive in new habitats or upgraded company headquarters, it can become quite lucrative revenue stream. We should build one next to the colony, preferably adjacent to as many habitat units as possible. Real estate is always about the location. I'll find the right spot. Obviously. Pleasure dome? Like seriously, what? Oh, buy 40 electronics. Fine. 2, 3, 4. Pleasure Dome. Hello. Hold on. Yeah, those are habitat domes. This is New Los Angeles. Not new Los Angeles. This is actually New Los Angeles. All right, fair. Well, Pleasure Dome, I can't maximize past 2. So I guess we're just going to do 2. Boom, baby. It is literally Epcot Center, isn't it? It does look exactly like the Epcot Center. Where, oh my gosh, we had to come all the way from the freaking corporate headquarters thing. Perfect. You really know how to make the best of a good idea. I'm kind of curious what would have happened if I had done the wrong thing. By strategically placing the Pleasure Dome between all those habitats, you've ensured optimal profits. Yay! Strong decision-making is a way to rise to the top. It has really been a pleasure to walk through the Seneca Way. Thanks. You rock! The Pleasure Dome is going to provide a nice income for us, and that's what business is all about. Finding out what people need and selling it at an inflated rate. I have questions. You are now certified to plan and execute a successful business by Seneca Development. Before leaving, please sign this non-disclosure and non-compete agreement. I don't know what will happen either way. I mean, the obvious answer is to sign. The fun answer is to not sign, and I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, refusing for the lulz does seem actually kind of funny, doesn't it? Honestly, the moon ain't got a whole pile of useful stuff on it, man. Fine. Fun times ahead! Oh no! Oh no, what do we do? Well, I did not sign and now we get fun times ahead. Climb the corporate ladder. What the fuck? No, so it didn't matter in the end. Next, we will do Make It Work. But I think for now, I have held your attention for nearly 2 hours. Through the scripted tutorials. So, I would say next week, not this time, because I have a different time for the Offworld Trading Company time. We'll continue this absolutely bizarre game and go from there. How about that? Because, honestly, this has been weird and strange and kind of funny. And I do love y'all just, like, leaning into it. Because, honestly, that's always funny, too. So, in the meantime, let's hope that, yeah, the scripted tutorials make it work. We'll see how Make It Work got absolutely messed up, or probably not, by way of our decisions in Corporations Are People. But in the meantime, it's been fun. And I think we've run out of time, so all the same and all the same. And as always, good night and good luck.